first temple was built on the Temple Mount by King Solomon in the 10th century BC. In 586 BC, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, destroyed Jerusalem along with the temple by setting it on fire. 70 years later, in 516 BC, the second temple was built in the same place, yet very modest, by those returning from Babylon to Zion. This temple stood in its place and was used until the days of Herod. Herod, king of Judah under Rome control, was known for his great building projects. Herod decided to build the largest sacred complex throughout the Roman Empire. There were several reasons for this. The first, his vision to turn Jerusalem, the capital of the kingdom, into an important and central city in the Roman space, with spacious market, theaters, palaces and fortresses, and all in the most impressive manner. There is no doubt that one of his purposes was to impress the visitors from all over the Roman Empire and leave them amazed. A second reason, increasing the dimensions of the complex around the temple so that it would be possible to accommodate tens of thousands of pilgrims while giving visitors a sense of grandeur. Last reason I will mention, Herod had hundreds and more construction projects, and for that a lot of money is needed. I will not go into the variety of tax income during Herod's time, but a few words about the half-shekel tax. The origin of this tax is related to the time of the construction of the tabernacle in the desert, and a similar tax of 1/3 of a shekel was also established in the days of Nehemiah. I will point out that the half-shekel tax was established in the Hasmonean period, but then it was taken as an annual tax and not a one-time tax as it was in the desert. Since the Hasmonean period, it has been raised regularly by the Jews of the diaspora and the Jews in the land of Israel. Every male in Israel from the age of 13 was charged with this tax. According to the Mishnah, the tax is intended to cover all the expenses of the temple and the need of the city in general. This donation is allowed to be used for, and I quote, the aqueduct and the city wall and its towers and all the needs of the city. This tax had a great impact on the economy of the city and its population. Also on the development of trade and crafts in the city and on the employment situation in Jerusalem and its surrounding. Herod wanted many Jewish visitors from the diaspora, no different than today. There is no doubt that the number of pilgrims to the temple was large and probably increased significantly after Herod's transformation of the Temple Mount. The visitors who came from the diaspora brought large sums of money into the city, either in the form of donations or in the expense they incurred in Jerusalem, such as the purchase of food and animals for sacrifice in the temple and so forth. Estimates I have seen indicate that the half-shekel tax contributed 10% and even more of the total income of the kingdom of Judah from taxes. In general, it is worth noting that the temple, together with its services of the priesthood, received various incomes and gifts that also added up to large amounts. And in general, the temple as a center of pilgrimage and as a center receiving taxes and donations was one of the most significant economic factors in the life of the country. To accomplish his goal, Herod built 4 massive retaining walls around the Temple Mount, one of which is the Western Wall. In the space between the walls and the mountain, fillings and vaults were built, and above them a paved square with an area of 144,000 square meters, the area of 17 football fields. Before I'll talk about the heart of the matter, some data on the dimensions of the construction. The length of the western wall is 488 meters. The length of the eastern wall, 460 meters. The northern wall, 315 meters, and the southern wall, 280 meters. Herod increased the area of the Temple Mount complex even beyond the natural boundaries of Mount Moriah, while crossing the ravines that border the hill. Two significant cases. The first, the northeastern corner of the Temple Mount complex was built on the bed of Beit Zita Brook, so that the Temple Mount area extended beyond the northern crossing of the stream. Second case, the southwestern corner of the Temple Mount complex was built about 35 meters west of the central ravine at the bottom of the eastern slope of the southern western hill of the city. On the other hand, in the northwestern corner of the Temple Mount, the builders curved the rock of the hill that rose above Mount Moriah to match the level of the Temple Mount square. On the remaining height, Herod built the Antonia Fort. The uniqueness of the Temple Mount complex is in the construction of a huge artificial structure in a mountainous area that is not convenient for construction, and for this, massive retaining walls were required. The walls of the Temple Mount were originally used as retaining walls for the huge complex, with their entire length being founded on the natural rock according to the topography of each point. That is, in the southern corner and in the area of its northeastern corner, where the rock level is particularly low, the foundations of the retaining wall were laid at a great depth below the surface, while in the northwest and in the center of the southern wall, the foundations were placed at the highest level. The maximum height of the original wall in the south reached 50 to 55 meters above the surface of the rock, equivalent to a 18-story building. The walls of the Temple Mount were built with large ashlar stones, which are about 1 meter to 1.1 meters high, and their length is not fixed. The weight of most of the stone reached 2 to 5 tons as the weight of a medium elephant, and some of them are much larger than the stones of the pyramids in Egypt. The stones that make up the southern corner of the Temple Mount surface structure are particularly large. In the southeast corner, the length of some of the stones reach 10 meters and more, and they are about 2.5 meters wide. Their weight reaches up to 50 tons each and even more. At the height of Huldah Gate's threshold, in the southern wall, there is a row of huge stone named Nidbach Raba, which is the 28th row from the mountain's surface. The height of its stones is close to twice the average, and it runs along the southern and western wall of the Temple Mount complex. This tier was probably used for stabilizing and binding, tightening belt in the complex structure of the walls. And this is to provide additional reinforcement, mainly on the sides where the construction rose to a particularly high heights. It is designed to fasten and stabilize the stones below it and provide a solid foundation for the stones above. The weight of one of its stones integrated in the southeast corner is 100 tons. Also, a stone of unusual size was discovered in the western wall. It can be seen only in the Western Wall tunnel. So let's go there. The stone in front of us belongs to a row of huge stones named Nidbach Raba. In Hebrew it means the great stone. This specific stone is the largest ever seen in Israel, and it's named the Western Stone. Its length reaches 13.6 meters, its height is 3.3 meters, and its thickness is approximately 4.6 meters. It is one of the largest building stones in the ancient world, although larger ones have been found, and its weight over 500 tons. Nidbach Raba is the highest and longest in the Western Wall, and its stones are the largest building stone found in the land of Israel. The large rectangular holes in the stones, as can be seen here, were curved to attach a wall to the Western Wall with the help of stone pegs, examples of which are seen here embedded in the plaster. A thick layer of water resistance plaster was also attached to this wall. From where we are standing, we can notice that each tier of the wall recedes inwards about 2 to 3 centimeters compared to the tier below it. This is intended to correct the optical illusion when looking at the wall from below, as if it is about to collapse. A direct result is that the walls on the outer side to their full height recedes by several tens of centimeters. The Western Wall, which is the western retaining wall of the Temple Mount and closest to the Holy of Holies, exists to this day in its entirety and extends from the southwestern corner of the Temple Mount to the northwestern corner. The most visible part of the Western Wall is the Prayer Plaza, where the Western Wall rises to a height of 15 meters. The lower 8 meters consist of 7 rows, and they are original from Herod's time. The last 7 meters were added at different times after they were destroyed in the Great Revolt and in later periods. Under the floor of the Western Wall Plaza are buried another 17 rows, all of them Herodian, original from the end of the Second Temple period. It is possible to differentiate between the original wall stones and the others according to their size and how they were carved. The Herodian stones are larger and have a curved frame and rim. And to conclude, as usual, I have a question for you. In the Western Wall tunnel, after we visited the huge Western Stone and continue north, we will reach a long and impressive aqueduct. At what period was it built? The answer will appear in 5 seconds.